We go. Greetings, everyone. I have a really special SeeSaw interview lined up for today. My name is Brian Watson. I'm the lay director of SeeSaw Ministries, and I want to let you know one of my favorite fundraising arrows in my quiver is custom donations. And this is what it rocks. This is Mike Smith. I'll have him say hello, and then share a screen. But when I got stuck on some simple thing, Mike picked up the phone. I mean, that's how hands-on he is with this baby. And I want to learn what were the steps that led to this amazing Stripe integration tool. Mike, say hello. And if you have a screen that for people that don't know anything about why they should be using custom donations, as nonprofits, you need to tune in, listen and learn as I will during this session.
Sure. Thanks, Brian, for that intro. I guess when you're talking about where did this company come from? Where did that concept come from? So I've been developer since late 90s, minus a 6 year stint in the Navy after 9/11. When I got out, I went back into development, ended up in the nonprofit space, working for a large alumni association at a university, and basically rebuilt all their systems, digital systems, fundraising systems, and all that. It was during that time where I wanted to rebuild their giving form. So we went through a very robust process and built out exactly what they needed. And about a year later, they wanted something different. And I said, well, it doesn't do that because that's not how we built it. And that's when I realized I'm a problem. I'm a roadblock between a fundraiser executing how do they want to raise money online, and they were forced to go through, a technical person, and technical people don't always understand fundraising, or your web people don't always understand fundraising. So I said, I want to remove this roadblock. And probably back in 2016, I started building the company. We launched in 2017 as a way to give the tools to the fundraisers so that they can build the fundraising forms they need for the specific case they need, when they need it, do it in minutes, and be done with it. And you don't need technical expertise. So that was the goal. And so we're that layer. You mentioned Stripe. Stripe is the credit card processor. We're the layer between the people who process the money and the website. So you need something of how do you build a secure form that, again, what you build today, it might not be what you need a month from now.
Right.
So how do we allow you to build the giving form you need? And then as your fundraising changes over the years, to be able to say, you know what, we're going to change this, we're going to change this, and you can do it in minutes and publish it, and it saves and it updates the website real time. But it was really just a way of how do we empower fundraisers to do what they need to do and not be hit roadblocks of technology or web people saying it'll take us 2 weeks to build you something new or 2 months to build you something new. I really wanted them to be able to do that. And so that's been like one of our founding principles was how do we remove technical roadblocks and how do we empower you to do your fundraising better?
I will let you know that the genius about your HTML buttons is you've got it in 7 places, and all of a sudden you forgot a level or an amount. The
Mhm.
ability to be able to modify your form without having to generate new code is, I don't think anyone else
Yeah.
does it. I think it's pure
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah, that was very intentional as we wanted to everything centralized, the data you collect is centralized. But again, if you say, hey, we've used this, we call them form blocks that collects donor name. And down the road, somebody says, you know what, we really need to ask for a prefix or a suffix, and we never asked that. You can drag it in there, and instantly it's going to be on every form that uses it. So it was, how do we make things reusable? So if when you have 10 different forms, and some people have 10 different forms, and they have 1,000 directed giving areas, how do we make it easy for that to show up in the right place, for people to find how they're going to give? And again, I'll tell you another just stewardship where we had people who they're setting up memorial scholarships for people.
Wow.
And a typical flow historically was you'd say, go to the giving form and type in your family name. I'm like, that's not stewardship when they're giving a $50,000 to start a memorial scholarship. So, in our system, they can create the fund, send the family their specific link. So when you use that link, it's going to select their fund. There's little things like that that I think just changes the donor experience to make it easier. It's better for your data on the back end too. But so it's little things like that where we're just trying to, how do we make it easier for one, for the fundraisers, but also for the donors to get through and give. And that's why I reached out to you, this morning was you have very great way of how you're curating your content and how donors should be supporting you. And so again, we want them when they see that $33 a month to be able to hit that button, give that amount. Because any way that you can make it easier for the donor to give, I think that just facilitates transaction. It makes them happy with giving you money.
Right.
And that's really what we're going for.
So the you are 100% designed to be the go-between a typically nonprofit's website and Stripe. You're the
Right.
ultimate go-between intercessory app or site.
Yes.
Okay. So as far as you've got a executive director of a decent nonprofit and they know nothing about you, but they have a website and they have Stripe. You want to kind of give me where you would begin? You have some slides or what do you got?
But yeah, I mean, I can just, I mean, I could pull up our website, but because it has a login button, the sign up process is literally maybe 5 questions. We'd ask you what your organization name is, but when you sign up, there's a button to connect Stripe, and once you do that, yeah, I mean, I
Would it
can,
help if I shared my screen
yeah,
because I'm already
sure,
logged in?
okay, yeah.
So I know
So
you got some new whistles and bells that I haven't even learned yet. So let me grab my screen and
okay,
share it.
yeah,
And okay. Nope, that's not it. Let me grab that again. Sorry. Coming
you're
right up.
fine.
Let me go into the custom donations. If I'm not in, I'll be in momentarily because I was just in. There we
Okay,
go.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah, normally when you create your account, it takes about 10 seconds. It brings you to this dashboard, and there's a link at the top that says Connect Stripe. It's kind of like a login with Facebook button. And
yep,
that's all you got to click. And once you do that, everything's done. It's wired up, it's PCI compliant, it's secure. Then you can build your giving forms. So if you click on your giving forms,
really quick,
and
what does
yeah.
PCI compliant mean?
So that is it's the kind of the payment industry standards when you're taking money that you're doing it in a compliant and safe and secure way. Um, I've dealt with some nonprofits in the past that just had a form that collected credit card data, and I don't know if
Right.
that just got saved in their database. That's not PCI compliant. You can't save credit card data in your own database. You can't email it to yourself. If you get some people, when they do direct mail and they have the remit slips where people write their credit card and that comes to your building, there are specific things you're supposed to
Got it.
follow. And how do you handle that to make sure everything's secure? So that if you're taking money through your website, you have to make sure that that method is PCI compliant. So again, the way we integrate with Stripe is like that, where your website never sees sensitive information.
Right.
We never see sensitive information. So it kind of keeps everybody covered from
Now I
a,
know exactly. I had to go through that now that you said that. And they
yeah,
definitely, I mean, nobody trusts anyone anymore online, and it's getting harder and harder.
yeah.
So, all right. So you said to go to my giving forms?
Yeah, click on giving forms and you can
Okay.
kind of see. So just this morning we did the giving levels form down at the bottom.
Okay.
And you can hit preview on that and
Uh,
it'll kind of show you what we built. And so what this does is the form, that white box is our form that would come into your website. The rest of the blue is that's just kind of like a mock-up of a website. So
okay.
this is just a mock-up, but that's your form. And you see, so we built something that talks about all your giving levels. So if you
Yeah.
can just click on that, it's going to be the 77 each month. It's those levels that you're communicating to people. When you're talking to people, you're educating them about this. So we want them to see that on the giving form. And then of course we had a button that says give any amount. So if they just want to do a one-time gift of $20, they can still do that. But so our system can kind of controls, again, how are you asking them to give? Are they giving a one-time gift? Yeah, you can't click on one-time
Oh,
gift
these
because
are
you're
just kind
locked
of a
in.
mock. Is this a mock-up
No,
or
that's an active form that you could put in your website. So you can click on a gift of any amount down there if you want to change your gifts. So you click on the last button down there, a gift of any amount.
gift of any
And-
amount?
yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
So that one will let you choose between either one time or recurring, because all those other ones are locked in. That's 111 each month. Those are your giving levels that you've communicated. So again, we want to make it easy for donors to, when they, know they want to give it a specific level, then they can do that.
And let me tell you the genius of this nonprofits. I close with this. Listen, these amounts are great, but at the end of the day, you have the power to choose the amount and the frequency you want. And
Yep.
I not only that, but even when you want it to start, I think those are incredibly, it's almost like the Burger King of giving. Have it your way.
Hmm.
If you don't
Yep.
like, we'd love for you to get on board on a level, but if there's something that works more or less better for you, you can do anything you want, and you've got the power to do it.
Yep. And then you can go back to your dashboard and you have a completely different form, just that general and partner support. I mean, that's a completely different form. It's a different look. It asks different amounts. So, I mean, you can create the form, like I said, create the form you need for the campaign you need. If you're going to ask for specific amounts or suggested amounts, but it's highly flexible on how you're doing that, how you're collecting money, what information you're collecting about the donors.
So that's I get this the flexibility of these
Mhm.
and then but your other should I go down to gift met or campaigns or what do you want me to click next?
So, yeah, I mean the form blocks we could just go down straight
Okay,
through them. So the form blocks is that's just where you create. Here's the information we're going to collect for donors. So some people like to have tributes or memorials. So you can
got it.
kind of create. These are the fields we want to collect about a donor. Um, and so
Ooh,
that's
I
up to
like the
you.
class year drop down. I can see depending on yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we work with some universities and alumni associations, so the class year is kind of a standard field from them, and we didn't want them creating a drop down with, 75 years in it. So we pre-populated that one for them.
Oh, that is
And
awesome.
then the allocations, that is,
Let me go back to that. Go ahead.
okay, yeah. And so this is all just drag and drop. You drag in a new field, you give it a name, and then everything we collect about the donor, it goes into Stripe in your transaction system. So you're going to have a record of everything that we collected for you in the transaction system. And again, that was intentional so that you have one source of record because your accounts are going to want to go to Stripe because that's where the money's going back and forth. So everything's going to be there. So you're not having to reconcile, well, what did they collect and what did Stripe collect? And now I got to merge this data. We try to keep it simple so it's all in one place.
So you collect everything on this side except for the credit card information?
Yes. So we don't require you to ask for any info. You don't have to use form blocks at all.
Okay.
By default, we will collect email because we send email receipts, and then
Right.
the payment information is handled by Stripe securely. So that's kind of a different. That's not in our system or there's your system
And
anywhere.
and a block header
Yeah.
is like for a banner?
Yeah. That's just that donor information, that big bold header. It's a way to visually
Got it.
separate out different pieces of information that you put in the website.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what that's for. So you can just hit the X and it'll delete that. But
All
yeah.
right. Oop, down, down, down. Okay. Text field. Now the text, here's a crazy. I guess if someone had a I guess if someone had a related video to the cause, they would just put it above the form. There's no
Yeah, oh,
real
yeah.
big, go ahead.
Yeah, like we saw in that preview, our form kind of self-contains in your website, and then you can surround it with whatever content you
Right.
want. So we're not going to limit you and what do you want to put around the form. So yeah, you can drop that video on top of it, beside it, however you want to do it.
So if you did need And these are the flexibility if you really need to know if
Yeah, like company name or something is a
right.
common one that people will
You can
add,
do
especially for
anything
sponsorship
here.
levels.
Got
Yep.
it. Ooh, I like the radio button or the let's see, the group check. Ooh, okay,
Yeah, so you
so
can have yeah, just options. So that option one is the what's going to show up on the screen. The option dash one is the actual value that gets saved behind the scenes
got it.
for you.
It's a lot of flexibility and the number. Okay,
Yeah, so it's just a number field. So, if you're on a mobile device, it'll show your number keypad instead of the, the text keypad.
got it. There's a lot of flexibility here. You can build any form and gather whatever information you want. It looks like it's very
Yep.
well thought out. Okay, so form blocks, we've got that.
Yep.
Allocations.
Yeah, so you
What's
see if you hit manage children on the support levels, so this kind of shows those are those different things that we saw on that screen.
Yep,
So you can click on one of those, you can click on the network connector and you can kind of see how we set that up. Um, so the name is what showed up at the top, and then the description showed up in that bar. The allocation ID, that's a unique internal ID. Is for That'd be what's in your CRM. So we're meant to help facilitate data syncing between CRM. So that's the CRM ID. And then you have a lot of control over it can just be open-ended, so they can give a gift of any amount, like
yep.
a gift of any amount does, or you can control the amount, you can control ranges of amounts, you can control the gift interval. So you have a lot of flexibility over but if they choose that option, what is it going to do for you?
So is this you used these children to build this?
Yes, so if you click on that and you scroll down, you can see it uses directed giving, and so that's what those allocations are used for: directed giving, memberships, stuff like that. The layout is the cards one, which means they can select one, and that's it. We also have a cards multiple, which means you can select multiple areas of support. And then it shows, it says which allocations are we going to show. So we said just show everything under support levels. And so that's what this form just shows everything under support level. So you can, um, or you can optionally just have it show handpicked ones. So if you just want a form to show like five options, and this comes into play for some of our universities, again, that'll have 1,000 allocations. They might just want to do a specific sports form, and these allocations might be all over their system, or they can just curate, just show these five on the form. So we
Got
make
it.
it easy for them to, um, again, help the donors see what do they need to see and give to. Um,
Okay, so there's definitely these kind of work hand in hand with your
yeah.
okay.
And the allocations can be used for ticketing, anything that has like a quantity, you can use that too. So, if you're selling a gala table for, that's good for 8 people, you can put that in there. You can control inventories, all that. So it's pretty flexible as far as what is that directed giving area going to do? Is it just, I want to make a donation to a scholarship of any amount? Am I giving to a membership level of a fixed amount or a ranged amount? Or am I buying a specific ticket that might have, limited quantities?
All right, so let's say there's a lot of dinners where they can have an individual seat or a
Hmm.
dinner or a table for eight.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
where
So if you click the tickets quantity,
okay,
you can click that and then you put in a unit price. So let's say the table is $1,000. You can put that in there.
yeah.
And then if you click the attendee info, so
Oh,
it tells you how many does this cover. So you can put 8 in there. And now what that does is that gives them the spot. So the next thing is when we're collecting data,
I
who are we
love
going
it.
to collect data on? And that's either everybody, which that would be a lot, typing in first name, last name, email for 8 people, or it can just be the lead attendee, and maybe they want to put in, they know two of the names who are coming. They can put that in on that
Is this
when they make the
new?
donation. Yeah, this was the release last week. We put this in there.
Now don't get me wrong. I mean, because I've done a lot of fundraising, including golf tournaments.
Hmm.
And that's kind of a no-brainer when you get into whatever it's $500 a team or it's 150 per individual. You got a
Right.
lot of you've just made yourself event friendly, right?
Yeah, and we've already gotten a lot of interest about it and people asking for new features, which we're building in right now. One of those would be free tickets. Um, so a lot of our nonprofits will put on free events with an option to donate.
Yes.
So we're going to have, for the first time, forms that maybe don't process any money at all for you. Like it's just going to be a free ticket, collect donors. But that's an important thing. So again, our job is to give you the tools you need. And if you say we love the ticketing, but we need free tickets, we're building free tickets. And that'll be released probably early next week. So the other two things, the campaigns,
Yeah.
um, we'll be building on that. That's just a way to do a date-driven campaign. So let's say you're going to do a capital campaign for a week. So you can say, for this week, I want you to replace the form on my main giving form with a you're going to put a thermometer on there. We have a goal. We're trying to have a
Do you
fundraising
have a
goal.
thermometer or is that
Yeah.
something we just do on our own?
No, the thermometer is powered through us. That's what this form will do. So you can say, from this date to this date, I want the thermometer. Here's the goal. You can enter in, here's how much money we've raised offline. And then optionally, if you want to change the email receipt, you can change the email receipt. So the campaign leverages an existing giving form because again, a lot of campaigns start at midnight and you don't want to be on your website at midnight changing forms out. So this basically says we'll automatically switch the form, add the thermometer, have your goals. If you've been getting some checks beforehand, let's say you already have $12,000 committed to the campaign, you can plug that in. So when it kicks off, you're already going to have a little bit of progress. So that's what a campaign is for. It's just to mean a date-driven, um, and sometimes they're long dates. Normally like a capital campaign might last, 6 months. Um, but that's what those were for, was just
So
to have the
so
thermometer. And we'll be building some more functionality around this and adding some more features behind that. But
all right, so use you wouldn't use this for a golf tournament, more of a capital campaign?
well, so the campaign is really just to have a thermometer
Okay,
tracking towards a goal. So
got it.
yeah, a golf tournament would be its own giving form. You create some allocations for it. You can create a giving form for it, have its own registration, because then it has its own messaging. Again, everything on this, on that form, you'd want to turn off recurring gifts. You just want to have the few directed giving areas. Again, you can say, I just want golf tournament to show up on this form. Um, the receipt's going to be different. It might come from a different staff member who's managing the event. So that's all stuff you can set up in the giving form is, I don't want this to come from Brian. I want it to come from John because he's managing it. The matching gift we have a lot of services around matching gifts through our sister company. So this is really just a matching gift lookup tool. So people, and I could show a demo of this
Yeah.
if you want. So people can find out is a company match eligible. And
Oh, that's extreme. Yeah, if you can demo that, we'll definitely do that next. That's fantastic.
sure.
Let
But
me
really,
just
what we're
go ahead.
doing behind the scenes with that as well is really, I think asking the donor to look up who they work for and then do stuff, that's a lot of burden on the donor. Even to have a search field in your giving form, which is what we do, I think is a little burdensome. So we have an approach that we can screen your entire donor file. We can enrich all their employment data. We have our own matching gift database, so we can say, hey, they work for a matching gift company and flag it and give that back to you. So you'll get updated information on everybody. About 20-25% of people might change jobs in a year. So even if you collect job information on your giving form, which I don't recommend because the less fields, the better,
Yep.
that could be out of date a year later.
Yep.
So that's why we're more of a let's be proactive behind the scenes. We know we have a database of 220 million people. We can find out where they work. We know if
Wow.
it's a matching gift company. We'll flag them and give them to you. And then there's an entire different product line that we can manage the entire engagement process with them about their matching gift. So that's a different rabbit hole we won't go down today. Um,
But so do I have a way to put in the code for a matching lookup?
um, well, if yes, I mean if you pay for it, what it gives you is and again I can kind of share my screen and
Yeah,
show what it
I
looks
want
like.
to, if there's anything else left here, and then it's over to you.
Yeah, the last thing is just the custom ask, but I can show that in a demo too because that's a little bit more that's an extra add-on too, so that's why you don't see it on there. And
Sure.
we're gonna fix all this up and make it easier that you can turn it on. And of course, now all of our video tutorials are out of date as of last week, so we're
I
gonna
was
get on
gonna say
those.
so there's new to come on that.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot.
okay.
Um,
All
so
right.
yeah, I'll share my screen and just kind of show
You
those
know, I'm glad
two.
you said that. I'm blessed to be the president of a group called Fishers of Men, and we
Okay.
have a yearly men's conference that we don't charge for. So your timing
Yeah.
is impeccable
Yeah.
with that for sure.
Yeah. And again, that's one of those things where we built it and we've already gotten a lot of feedback and people are saying first thing was we have a free event coming up and we'll have that out ready for them by next week. So we are responsive to what do people need because that's going to improve our product overall. So yeah, so we just have a simple matching gift lookup tool where not IGM. You can look up is your company match eligible, get information on it. Um,
So that's open to the public, right? Looks like.
well, yeah. So this is just for our account. This is kind of like a demo.
Oh, I
Uh,
see.
but so that would this is like something that if people can buy this so they can put it in their own website and use it. So if they do want to, this is kind of like the lowest barrier of entry to say, okay, we just want to spend a little bit um, to let people find out, do I work for a matching gift company? Yes or no, and then they can go file it because there's a lot of money that gets left on the table with matching gifts if people don't submit that. Um,
Yes. So that's
and
a
then
that's a paid for service that can be put on nonprofits' websites.
yes, so this
And
is
do they
just another
contact
embed
you for the
code.
price or
Yeah, it was there. You can just enable it in your account and it'll give you the code right there. Um,
okay.
and then the custom ask that we were talking about is what that is it is a personalized giving form for donors. So think about when a lot of nonprofits do direct mail, they're personalizing a lot of the direct mail. So they know your name, they know where you live, usually based on your giving history, they're suggesting gift amounts. So where the biggest disconnect I see in direct mail is, if I've been giving $300 a year for the past 5 years and you send me to this form, you are showing me suggested gift amounts that don't match how I give and it doesn't match probably what you just sent me in a direct mail piece. So that's a huge disconnect because I know that these suggested amounts get clicked on a lot. And we've saw one organization, they changed their default ask, the first button from 100 to 150. Over half of all donors gave 150.
Wow.
So again, so that's why when we were talking earlier, I said, it's our job to tell them how to support your organization, how that money is going to get used to educate them. And when you do that effectively, it turns a $100 gift into a $150 gift or more.
Right.
So the personalized giving, what it does is it will change the giving form to match. So this donor, if they got direct mail, email, maybe phone conversations where you're at, maybe they've been giving 500 and they're ready to give more, they get a giving form that asks for 550 and 600 and maybe different recurring giving levels. So this allows us to customize every form for every donor. And then so we have another donor over here. They got a direct mail appeal. They see a different ask array. But the main thing is that this ask array is going to match what they saw in the direct mail appeal. So we're closing that loop um, of disconnect between I just wrote a letter that's telling me to give $400 and I go to your giving page and I see 30, 50, 100, 250. That's confusing because you just ask them for 300, they come here, they can easily give 50. We don't want that to happen. We want when they come to give, they see how you were just asking them.
So there is, let's just say a nonprofit's got 10,000 donors, and where do you teach it? What do you give them? First name, last name, email, and last amount or average
Um,
amount giving, or how you do it?
yeah, so we actually, on this form, we wouldn't ask any donor information because we're tracking that donor by your internal CRM ID,
Okay.
and we're tracking it by the mail piece. So and so we need to remove that from this demo form because we don't even ask for it. But yeah, so it's based on basically you might have the same spreadsheet you'd give the direct mail printer of here's the person, here's the ask arrays. We take that, we turn it into custom landing pages. We can give those URLs back to the printer so they can print those QR codes in the message. If they don't do QR codes, our URLs are short enough that the donor can type it. It's not going to be some long, ridiculous
Okay.
URL, something that's short enough that they can type. And that's something that we innovated a couple years ago. And as far as I know, nobody else has that approach.
No, it's genius. I totally understand. Um, and that as far as being able to make a custom mail and email campaign with their own custom link, that's
Right.
that's going to take a minute to get into the weeds on that, I
Yep.
imagine, right?
It's really easy. I mean, this is something that if you're sending out to the printer today, we can have your URLs today. I mean, um,
So
it's
do
not a
they
complex process.
is this for the email? How do we get you? What do you need to be able to integrate it with the mail merge to be able to make that happen?
Yeah, so it's a spreadsheet with a minimum of three fields. Their ID number, the first ask array, and the second ask array. That's the bare minimum. If you want to ask four one-time amounts, you can do that. If you want to ask 2 to 4 recurring amounts, you can do that. Once that's loaded in our system, then again, we generate all those unique links for those 10,000 people. It goes in with your printer as another mail merge field. So they see that short URL will be printed. So instead of saying, go to my website /give, they have their own link. And that's what's tracking the donor. It's tracking the print piece. So, because we see people who give sometimes years after the fact from a piece of mail sitting on their desk. And I've seen that, heard that story from a couple of nonprofits. So we'll track that. If they use that link, we're going to know.
All right, I've got another nonprofit that has got a very mature normal mail out campaign. So I have a lot of nonprofit hats I wear with a lot of nonprofits.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So I see, uh, and they'll just get into the weeds of obviously what's in it for you. First of all, is you are tied into every donation anyway. So at
Mhm.
more donations, the more you make on each donation. Not make more, but more donations, more money for you, whatever your percentage is. It's not much. It
Right.
seems like your services are extremely
And yeah,
reasonable.
that's a good point. I'm going to share again just to bring up that page we were just looking at on the payment screen. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, all this wording is customizable. So we do allow the donors to cover all your platform overheads. That's not just us, it's also the credit cards. That
right.
gets built in natively to the gift. Over 86% of the donors, just across our entire system, will opt to cover your overhead, which can be thousands of extra dollars a year. So that part's really important because if they come to give you 400, we want to make sure that 400 is what posts to your bank account, and that's what this system does. And so for the vast majority of our donors, they're seeing this boost, and it makes a big difference every year.
Why? Okay, now we're going to a different realm here because I am looking at Google Pay, US Bank, and where's that being generated from?
So this row is from your Stripe account,
Got it.
based on what is available. So if I was on my iPad, this would
Got
be
it.
replaced with Apple Pay.
I got
This
because
is controlled.
Yeah, I
You
get
can
it.
control this from your Stripe dashboard of what payment methods do you want people to
Be,
have.
one of my nonprofits is a religious nonprofit, and because of that, Cash App isn't one of Stripe's options, but that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, so that'll just automatically come off. It's based on your account and your settings.
Got it. Well, that's awesome. I'm going to share this, and of course, however, I've got your help email. Anything you guys want, you just reach out to direct because Mike is here to serve, and he's created with his background and talent a pretty much everyone wins, flexible, amazing, going and growing place to go. So,
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ryan. And again,
yeah,
when I built this company, it was I wanted every nonprofit, regardless of budget, to be able to have access to the same tools that the big nonprofits use. And we've run campaigns for your small local foundations all the way up to massive national organizations. And so, again, we just wanted everybody to have access to good tools, flexible tools, not just have, bad forms or unsecure forms or linking off site to somewhere else to give, because all that kind of can have a negative effect on the donor experience. And so we're real sensitive to that. And we're here to help you do your mission because we know you're out there doing good and we want to help facilitate that.
yeah. Well, guys, I hope this is. I have wear many hats as community outreach director for Saving Lost Kids that boldly fight for missing, exploited, sex trafficked children. I help a mission in Africa that restored sight to the blind, and Seesaw Ministry is my job is to help as many nonprofits not compete but complement each other. So that role is kind of very important, and I'm a full-time Mid-South missionary, so I've got people that support me so I can be a free resource to everybody else. That's kind of the drill. So, all right. Well, you're not going to need me anymore. It's between you and Mike now. Unless you have questions about whatever you heard me say, you're welcome to reach out to me too. But I love the time today. I pray it's very efficacious for anyone that is looking for a better solution.
Thanks. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. I always love talking fundraising.
Yeah, well, reach out there. I am going to stop this recording. And until the next Seesaw session, thank you for watching and take care, everyone. Bye for now.